I'll fly, and I'll fly into the end of the sky. So I'll be the one who doesn't have to say goodbye.
Hi there guys, I'm a version of this fanfic reading called Flickering version, and it's by Jacob, not Jacob's Crackers, Jacob's Fanfic Readings, or Dr. Pepper Pony, or Dr. Pepper. He's holding a Dr. Pepper. I don't know why. You must love Dr. Pepper. What's the worst that can happen? Me messing it up is one thing, yes. And Twilight's on the floor. Well, that can happen. It's not like Twilight. It's not. Hello, Dr. Pepper King. Okay, he's a king now. Hell, King Dr. Pepper. Okay, Apple Bloom, fire away.
Seriously?
Oh dear. Okay, Flickering version. I was in this one. I already had a couple of lines. Yeah. Let's find out. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello!
Hello, hi.
This is Jacob again.
Really?
And it's time for another fanfic reading. This time, I'm doing a reading of Flickering Vision,
Flickering Vision
by Ironsides.
Yeah.
Enjoy!
Thank you. Oh, a bit sad, isn't it?
It was a normal night in the Everfree. Well, as normal as a night could be in this place.
Wow.
Harvest, or Harvey as he liked to be called.
I can tell this is done by
quietly sipping his coffee as he stared.
What's the thing?
He'd have been acting
it's like in
for the past few hours,
Moonmaker,
tittering a few times before stopping abruptly. While it may have been
that Ghost Train,
one of the other towns hitting it on accident, he quickly dismissed it when it happened a second, third, and fourth time.
Fourth time?
Now he had been staring.
Oh, it's a ghost now.
For it to do something for the past hour. Things like this happening had been recorded previously, but no cause had ever been found. Sure, the Everfree was no.
Yeah, it's like this is like a ghost story.
Electrical instruments until the last few months. Some of the other switch shack attendants had said things.
I like the sound effect though,
whistles,
like a whistling.
Most ponies decided it was just them imagining.
No, a whistling sound effect.
Isolation for days at a time. Harvey, on the other hoof, was optimistic. He has always been interested in magical pursuits, but here being an Earth pony hadn't lent him well to the cause.
No.
So this happening was something that immensely intrigued him. After all, there was no way something like this couldn't be magical in nature. There was too
magical in nature. You think ghosts is a magical in nature? What?
A distant howl at the window caught his attention. His highly sensitive ears swivelling to the direction the sound came from. To him, it indeed sounded like a whistle, albeit very broken, like a record needle skipping horribly. The cutoff was clean before picking up a second later.
That's odd,
he said, turning towards his orders.
That's odd.
His eyes flicked to the clock on the wall.
10 o'clock in the evening.
He drew a line with the tip of his
10 o'clock in the evening.
His papers to the schedule. No train was supposed to be heading up the mountain for the next 4 hours.
It's a ghost train.
Going through the opposite
technically, it's a ghost train.
Shouldn't be any activity on the line at this time.
No.
Unless it's an unscheduled train.
That can happen.
Sent word of such a thing, though.
His face turned into a frown. His muzzle now facing the window. Eyes peering into the
Jacob is reading it, okay.
It wasn't long before the howl returned, but far more pronounced now. It was close. Very close.
Ooh.
Harvey darted towards the door, throwing it open and letting the biting cold rip past him.
Must be cold outside.
He stepped out onto the porch, leaving
it's Fluttershy out there.
Gazing off into the distance, he found what he was looking for. A light on the side of the mountain.
A light?
In the moonlight, he could see the dark plume of acrid coal smoke pouring out of the exhaust stack. Harvey's vision began to blur. A blink later, the scene was gone. No engine or train in sight. This time, the
it's a ghost train.
the vision appearing a few hundred feet from where it had last been. It kind of faded in and out of existence, though.
Oh?
Like a ghost or something.
I just
It
said
was
that.
blurry and undefined. He kept staring, slack-jawed and wide-eyed at his findings. The locomotive on the head end was nothing like he had ever seen before.
No.
It was massive in every sense of the word. No engine in Equestria could rival the size. The intermittence
That
of
is
the
a big train,
was
though. I
starting
can admit
to
that.
lessen,
That was a big
gaining
train.
solidity amongst the snow and trees. The whistle call wasn't as broken now, allowing the musical nature
I
of
think
the
I would feel
concept
scared if I
of the
was there
note.
as well, though.
Harvey blinked again, and the train vanished. He put a hoof to his head.
The train
Whoa.
vanished.
What am I seeing here?
I don't know. What are you
So
seeing?
Silently, he waited for another second before turning back into the house and grabbing his coat, shrugging it hard over his shoulders. His dark blue hoof snagged a lantern off a shelf and lit it, softly blowing on it to give the flame some life. Again, he stepped onto the porch and sat in a chair. He did some very basic calculations in his head and decided it would be around 10 minutes before the ghost train would reach his position. If it was real, anyway.
It'll
If
go right
15
through
minutes
you, wouldn't
passed
it?
and he didn't see it again, he would go to bed and file it under caffeine hallucinations.
Caffeine hallucinations?
Justin Mathers was young, that was for sure. At only 25, he was half the age of most of his companions. His tenacity behind the throttle was nothing to shake a stick at, though, putting him in the higher ranks of the community. After being the first to run the 2023 down the tracks on her first shakedown runs,
Yeah.
he was sure she could make it to the summit with no problems. Justin kept a steady hand on the throttle as the starting
Why do I sense
car
something's gonna
fought
go
for
wrong
traction
now?
on the snowy rails. He lightly sanded the rails before him, trying to slip the wheels as little as possible. The loud, echoing box of exhaust from the stack resounding through the mountains, and himself as well.
Oh.
It had been years of hard work, bloodshed, and tears of
Why
restoration
number 9,
to get
though?
to this moment,
Is that
and it was
significant?
something he did not take lightly. His brow was furrowed, eyes looking off into the night as the oil lamp on the front
looks like
of the
you've seen a
engine
ghost.
cast a bright light over the tracks ahead. Before him stood one of the 3 tunnels on the Cheval Scenic Railroad. This one, tunnel number 2,
This is definitely American.
was guarded by a shack that should have long since been destroyed by nature. It had been 70 years since the original owner of the road closed down operations, leaving the rails to the forces of the mountains.
Well,
Somehow it had survived, if only just barely.
but
The Cheval Scenic had acquired the
So
rights
you don't
to
get
the
many
line
trains
after a
down this
vote in
track
the
then?
town on the purpose of actually owning the trackage. After all, what good was an old mining railroad to a fledgling town? After years of rehabilitation,
it's sad to
they
see
soon
old
had the line
railroads
operational
closing down,
again.
though.
Diesels were the biggest source of power, though, being the only things that the road could get their hands on such short notice. The 2023 was years away from operation at that point, so they needed something to move sightseers. Now that the hefty mic was running, more passengers would pour in like water from the falls. At least,
Water?
that was the hope anyway. Justin needed to prove the 2023's viability as motive power before anything could actually get done.
Horse. Oh, I mean, talk about horsepower
That
then.
would be decided when she hit the summit with no problems. Justin blinked quickly.
Yeah,
his
you,
vision getting
do you
hazy
need
from the strain
so
on
many
his eyes.
engines to go up?
That was weird.
He commented to himself. He kept looking, his vision going hazy for a second at a
That
time.
is weird.
Hey, Rye, take a look outside, will ya?
Rylie Rayner sighed, rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
This better not be another one of your pranks.
Hello,
The
Mark.
lanky man pulled open the door to the cab and looked outside.
I don't see anything weird.
No,
Look
don't.
towards the head and you blind moron. Something seems
Don't call me a moron.
off.
Justin replied, rubbing his eyes. Rylie did so, and blinked himself.
Yeah, it is weird. Like static almost.
Yeah.
No real clear picture.
That's what I'm saying.
No
Just
real
in
clear
downstairs.
picture.
I've never experienced something like this before.
Twilight's falling down.
He grabbed the whistle cord and sounded the required blast before entering the tunnel.
Neither have I.
Admitted
Neither
Rylie
have I.
as he grabbed the bell rope and began ringing it.
Ooh. My skin feels kind of tingly
You
too. Maybe a
Is that
static
it
charge?
Nah, that can't be it. Nowhere
No?
near enough built-up static to cause something like this.
Justin glanced outside again.
Yeah,
just as the train
kinda
passed the
true-ish.
rundown switchman shack near the mouth of the tunnel. There was a figure sitting in the wooden chair, gazing up at him.
Windshare?
Only, it wasn't a human figure. It was dark blue with blue-green eyes. Its jaw was wide with either fear or awe, just you couldn't tell which. Both beings stared each other down, unable to make a single move as the train passed into the tunnel. The weird echo.
It's a ghost, it's a ghost.
As fast as it
Get
had
out!
appeared.
Get out of there!
The engineer fell back into his seat box, his hands slipping from the throttle as his mind struggled to come to grips with what he had just seen.
More times dead.
Rylie
Okay.
glanced over, his arm still pulling at the bell.
What's wrong, Jay? It's almost like you saw a ghost or something.
Tell us, what happened? What happened?
Harvest Moon could do nothing but stare. The massive steam locomotive thundered past him in a flurry of snow and condensed vapor. The drive rods, almost larger than life, flung around almost effortlessly. Harvey's green eyes flicked to the cab window, a kind of monkey-looking thing,
What?
clad in striped overalls and a cap, looking right back at him.
It's a
Both of his
ghost.
hands
It's a
grasped the
ghost.
side wall, his
Get
jaw
out of there!
They shared
You're
a
causing
blink
a disturbance.
just enough to snap Harvey out of it, allowing the train to pass into the tunnel behind him before waking out of existence once again. It took a few minutes for him to collect himself. With a deep breath, he threw himself back into the shack and grabbed a pencil and paper, scribbling down his findings. Slowly, he translated it into the dots and dashes for transmission through the wires. Hurriedly,
Morse code.
he tapped it out,
Morse
letting
code.
anybody and everybody know what he had seen.
Beep, beep, beep,
The
beep.
most noteworthy part read,
I need some pony trained in magical detection on the next train to Summit Switch House. Copy. Next train.
So, that was my reading of Flickering Vision. I hope you enjoyed it. And special thanks to Illya Leonov
Yes.
for voicing Harvest Moon, Jordan Martinez for voicing Justin Mathers, and Mark Hyder for voicing Rylie Rayner.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for watching, and this is Jacob, signing off.
Bye-bye. Okay, that was Flickering Vision. Haven't actually done any voicing for quite a while for people, in terms of real voicing. It was an okay story. It was very short though. You saw this about 10 minutes. If you don't add the thing at the beginning and the end, it's around about 10 minutes, 9 minutes. The actual story, and it's a one chapter wonder. And I want to do more of this. I want to do more stories. I don't know if you really need to put yourself in the position of saying introducing the story, but that is what makes a channel unique, maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't personally say, well, this is Mark Hyder, and we're going to read to you this story, and cut to the story. You wouldn't normally see that in narrations sort of stories, but overall, I think you're still quite new to doing stories or doing fanfic readings. Your narration is pretty good, actually. Your music, the sound effects, and you can actually get the story, but it needs to sound a bit darker. Just a tad. I think just make it a bit more darker, then add some atmosphere, maybe some jump scares here and there, especially when we talk about ghosts. You need to add that element of of surprise. And I'm not talking about Pinkie Pie.
Seriously?
Sorry, Upper Bloom. It's I'm very sorry. But overall, it was a good story. Even though it's short, it was good, and I was in it. Yeah, that is good. But it doesn't really beat Unmarked. But Unmarked is completely different. Yes. Well, I hope you like this reaction and all my reaction videos I do, and I will see you next time. Oh yes.
And I'll fly, and I'll fly.